Today, we're taking a deep dive into a country that captured my heart and at times tested my patience: Vietnam. It's a land of incredible beauty, rich history, and vibrant culture, but like any destination, it has its pros and cons. So, if you're planning a trip or just curious, stick around as I share the real story of traveling through Vietnam: the good, the bad, and the absolutely unforgettable. Let's start with something you'll likely encounter right away: the people. Vietnamese people are, by and large, some of the most genuinely friendly and hospitable individuals I've ever met. Everywhere you go, from the bustling streets of Hanoi to the quiet villages in the Mekong Delta, you'll be greeted with a warm smile. It's not just a polite gesture, it feels authentic. People are curious, they're welcoming, and they often go out of their way to help you, even with a language barrier. Yeah, this warmth is the soul of Vietnam, and one of the biggest reasons people fall in love with the country. This brings me to a related point: the food. Vietnamese cuisine is a world-class culinary experience, and it's incredibly affordable. We're talking fragrant bowls of pho for a couple of dollars, crispy Banh Mi sandwiches that will change your life, and fresh seafood grilled to perfection. The street food culture is legendary. Pulling up a tiny plastic stool on a busy sidewalk and enjoying a delicious meal with locals is a core part of the Vietnamese experience. It's not just about the taste. It's about the atmosphere, the community, and the sheer joy of discovering new flavors on every corner. The food alone is worth the trip. Now, let's talk about the incredible scenery. Vietnam is a country of breathtaking and diverse landscapes. You have the dramatic limestone casts of Ha Long Bay, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that looks like something out of a fantasy movie. Then there are the winding mountain roads of the Ha Giang Loop in the north, offering some of the most epic motorbike journeys on the planet. Head south and you'll find the lush green rice paddies of the Mekong Delta, the Rice Bowl of Vietnam. And don't forget the beautiful beaches in places like Da Nang, Phu Quoc, and Mui Ne. Whether you're a nature lover, an adventurer, or just looking for a beautiful place to relax, Vietnam has it all. Beyond the natural beauty, Vietnam has a profound cultural and historical heritage. The country's history is long and complex, and you can see its layers everywhere. In Hoi An, another UNESCO site, you can wander through a beautifully preserved ancient town with its iconic lanterns and charming architecture. In Hue, you can explore the imperial citadel and the tombs of ancient emperors, getting a glimpse into a bygone era. The reminders of the Vietnam War are also present, particularly in Ho Chi Minh City at the War Remnants Museum and the Cu Chai tunnels. These sites offer a powerful and sobering look at the country's resilience and history. Exploring these places gives you a much deeper appreciation for the Vietnam of today. All right, now let's get into some of the challenges, the things you need to be aware of to have a smooth trip. Let's start with scams and overcharging. Unfortunately, this is a reality in many tourist areas. The most common places you'll encounter this are in markets and with some taxis. You might be quoted a tourist price that is significantly higher than what a local would pay. For taxis, always insist on using the meter. If the driver refuses, just get out and find another one. Ride-hailing apps like Grab are your best friend in Vietnam. They give you a fixed price up front, so there are no surprises. It's not about being distrustful, but about being a savvy traveler. This leads directly to my next point: the art of haggling. In Vietnam, especially in markets, the first price you're given is almost never the final price. Haggling is a normal and expected part of the culture. It can be intimidating at first, but try to approach it with a sense of fun. Have a price in mind that you're willing to pay. Start by offering about half of the initial asking price and meet somewhere in the middle. Always keep it light-hearted and friendly. Smile, be polite, and be willing to walk away if you can't agree on a price. Mastering a bit of haggling will not only save you money but also make you feel more like a local. Another thing to be mindful of, particularly in big cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, is safety in crowded areas. Like in any major city around the world, pickpocketing can be an issue. Be aware of your surroundings, especially in crowded markets, on public transportation, or in busy tourist spots. Don't flash expensive electronics or jewelry. Keep your wallet in your front pocket, and if you have a bag, wear it across your body. The infamous snatch and grab from a motorbike is a real, though not excessively common, risk. Just keep your phone and bag close and away from the roadside. It's about being cautious, not paranoid. Vietnam is generally a very safe country, but it pays to be vigilant. Let's talk about the traffic. Oh, the traffic! Crossing the street in a major Vietnamese city for the first time is a rite of passage. It can look like utter chaos, with a seemingly endless river of motorbikes flowing in every direction. The key is to walk slowly, confidently, and at a steady pace. Don't make sudden movements or stop in the middle of the road. The riders are experts at navigating around pedestrians, and they will flow around you like water. It's terrifying at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Renting a motorbike yourself is a popular way to explore, but if you're not an experienced rider, please be extremely careful. The roads can be unpredictable. The language barrier can be a challenge at times, especially outside of the main tourist centers. In hotels, restaurants, and tour companies in places like Hanoi, Hoi An, and Ho Chi Minh City, you'll find plenty of English speakers. However, if you venture off the beaten path or try to communicate with a street food vendor, you might need to rely on hand gestures and a translation app. My advice? Learn a few basic Vietnamese phrases. Simple words like xin cho, hello, and cmn, thank you, go a long way. It shows respect, and people will appreciate the effort, often greeting you with an even bigger smile. So, what's the verdict? Vietnam is an incredible, dynamic, and fascinating country that offers an adventure for every type of traveler. Yes, you need to be aware of some of the negatives, like scams and chaotic traffic, but these are small hurdles in what is otherwise an amazing journey. The positives, the friendly people, the phenomenal food, the stunning landscapes, and the deep history far outweigh any of the challenges. It's a country that will engage all your senses and leave a lasting impression on your heart. My advice is simple. Go with an open mind, a bit of patience, and a big appetite. You will not be disappointed. The locals are, without a doubt, some of the most genuinely helpful and kind people I've ever met. There's a warmth here that's hard to describe. I can't tell you how many times I've been lost, looking confusedly at a map on my phone, only to have a complete stranger approach me and offer help. They might point me in the right direction, walk me a few blocks, or even use their own phone to help me figure out my route. What makes this so special is that it happens even when there's a significant language barrier. It's a universal kindness that transcends words. This brings me to our first con, which is directly related to that point. The language barrier is real. While you'll find English speakers in major hotels, tour agencies, and upscale restaurants in cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, step outside of that bubble, and it's a different story. In fact, studies show that fewer than half of the locals have a functional level of English. This isn't a criticism, just a reality you need to prepare for. You'll be pointing at menus, using translation apps, and getting very good at hand gestures. But honestly, this can be part of the fun. It forces you to connect in different ways and often leads to some of the most memorable and funny interactions. Now, a significant con: the tourism management in many popular areas can be quite poor. Places like Ha Long Bay, the old town of Hoi An, or certain hotspots in Hanoi can become incredibly crowded. And unfortunately, the infrastructure often hasn't kept up with the sheer volume of visitors. This can lead to heavy congestion, both on the streets and at major attractions. You might find yourself in a chaotic queue, trying to navigate a sea of tour groups, which can detract from the beauty of the place you came to see. Organization can feel weak, with little crowd control and a general sense of everyone just fending for themselves. It's a challenge that Vietnam is still figuring out how to manage as its popularity continues to skyrocket. My tip here is to try visiting popular spots during the shoulder season or very early in the morning to beat the crowds. Back to the positives, and this is a big one. Vietnam is incredibly affordable. Your money goes a long way here, which makes it an accessible destination for backpackers, budget travelers, and even those looking for a bit of luxury without the insane price tag. You can find clean, comfortable accommodation for a fraction of what you'd pay in Europe or North America. A delicious, filling meal from a street vendor might only cost you a couple of dollars. You can take a long-distance bus or train between cities for just a few bucks. This affordability means you can stay longer, do more, and experience the country more deeply without constantly worrying about your budget. It allows for spontaneity. You can decide to take that cooking class or book that extra night in a place you love without breaking the bank. It's a freedom that is truly liberating for a traveler. But on the flip side of that, we have another con, and it's an important one, especially for certain types of travelers. Vietnam's infrastructure is not very well equipped for the elderly or for families with young children. Accessibility is a major issue. You will find very few ramps for wheelchairs or strollers. Sidewalks, when they exist, are often uneven, cluttered with parked motorbikes, or used as extensions of shops, making them difficult to navigate. Public restrooms are not always easy to find, especially outside of major establishments, and finding one with a baby changing station is like finding a needle in a haystack. Many older temples and natural attractions involve climbing lots of steep stairs. If you're traveling with someone with mobility issues or with a little one in a stroller, you will face significant challenges. It requires a lot more planning and patience to get around. Let's swing back to a huge pro, the sheer diversity of the landscape. Vietnam is stunningly beautiful, and its geography offers something for everyone. In the north, you have the dramatic limestone karsts of Ha Long Bay and the rugged mountainous regions of Ha Giang and Sapa, where you can trek through rice terraces that look like they've been carved by giants. As you move to the center, you'll find the historic lantern-lit streets of Hoi An and the ancient imperial city of Hue. Then, head south to the bustling, energetic metropolis of Ho Chi Minh City and the lush green waterways of the Mekong Delta. And let's not forget the coastline. There are miles and miles of beautiful beaches, from the popular shores of Da Nang to the quieter, more remote islands like Phu Quoc. You can spend a month here and feel like you've visited several different countries. The natural beauty is simply off the charts. But to give you a balanced view, we need to discuss some of the challenges. One of the most significant issues, especially if you venture outside the major cities, is the limited access to medical services. In places like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, you can find international hospitals and clinics with high standards of care and English-speaking staff. But the story is very different once you get into rural or remote areas. In smaller towns and villages, healthcare facilities are often basic. Finding a well-stocked pharmacy can be a challenge, and getting specific medications might be impossible. Doctors and nurses may not speak English, making communication incredibly difficult in a medical emergency. If you have a serious health issue or a chronic condition that requires regular monitoring and specific treatments, living in a rural part of Vietnam could be a major concern. It means that for any significant medical problem, you might have to travel for hours to reach a major city. This is a critical factor to consider, not just for long-term expats, but also for travelers who plan to go off the beaten path. So, what's the takeaway here? Vietnam is a country of beautiful contrasts. It's a place where you can experience a rich, ancient culture alongside a dynamic, modern society. These are the things that make Vietnam an unforgettable destination and a wonderful place to live for many. However, it's also a developing country with real-world challenges. It's not about saying Vietnam is good or bad. It's about understanding the full picture. It's a country that offers incredible rewards, but they come with a set of challenges that you need to be prepared for. The beauty and the struggle exist side by side, and it's this complex reality that makes Vietnam such a fascinating and compelling place. Thank you so much for joining me for this honest look at Vietnam. I hope this gives you a more nuanced understanding of this amazing country. If you've been to Vietnam, what were your biggest pros and cons? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read your experiences. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content. Until next time, travel safely and stay curious.